diplomatic status, which gives privileges such as immunities and concessions for the bank to operate in the Gambia. The main objective behind the establishment of the Africa Export-Import Bank is to facilitate, promote, and expand intra-African and extra-Africa trade. In other developments, the government of Cuba, through its ambassador to the Gambia, recently approved scholarship package meant to train group of Gambian doctors and nurses on intensive care as a specialty. This is to improve the public healthcare system with experts in various specialties for the effective execution of their duties. Also, the government of the Gambia, through its High Commissioner in Dakar, Senegal, has signed a rural water project with the government of Japan. The project is valued at $770 million, earmarked for the promotion of sustainable development and livelihood support of Gambians in rural areas. Ministry of Information and Communication Infrastructure. The Ministry of Information and Communication Infrastructure, in its relentless drive to enhance e-governance in the country, has recently increased the capacity of its e-governance data center, which is a host to various management information systems, including the government official email system, websites of ministries, departments, and agencies. The Ministry of Information and Communication Infrastructure is currently formulating an email policy which will enforce the use of the official email system by all government personnel for official communication. The MOIC will continue to improve and add more electronic services in order to ensure a totally powerless. The Ministry of Information and Communication Infrastructure will continue to improve and add more electronic services in order to ensure a totally paperless government, thereby increasing robustness, efficiency, and effective electronic service delivery for the government. Ministry of Trade, Works and Infrastructure. The Ministry of Trade, Works and Infrastructure is leading efforts to improve and modernize road infrastructure networks across the Gambia. Just recently, the National Assembly approved Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2020, which will see the Ministry of Works, Transport and Infrastructure build additional 400 kilometers of roads across the Gambia and 2 other major markets in Basse and in Brikama. The 400 kilometers of roads to be built include the following: construction of Nyomi-Hakalang roads, which is 84.4 kilometers. And the roads to be built include Bunyadu to Kuntaya, Kier Mumbangba to Medina Bafloto, and Albreda to Fas Umar Saho. Also, Kiang West roads will see 80.6 kilometers of roads constructed in that part of the country, starting with Sankandi to Karantaba, Manduar to Tankular, Karantaba to Kemoto, Karantaba to Misra Tendaba, Manduar to Kemoto, and Kenaba to Dasilame Sangajor in Fonyi. In Sabah Sanjal Loop and Ker Jimbala, Kaur Ulde roads will see 86 kilometers of roads to be built in that part of the country. And the roads include Sabah Sukototo to Bambali, Sarekunda to Sarangai, Sarekunda to Ngien Sanjal, Kaur to Senegal border near Jimbala, Kaur to Senegal border near Kershinadu, the North Bank Road near Jareng Mandinka to Yongo, and Chamen to Nyanija Bantang. You also have other roads that are to be built in different parts of the country, including West Coast, such as Brikama to Manduar, Gunjur Town Road, Pakalinding to Mansakonko Road, Eseu Town Road, Tujereng Kunkujang Mariama Road, Sanyang Beach Road, Bani Salikenya Njabakunda Road, Kerawan to Njawara Road, also Brufut, Mediana, Banyakang, and Kunkujang Mariama, Farbasutu to Jiboro, Nyakoi to Baikunda, Sareteneng to Sarangai, Farafenye to Balingo, Brikama, Kasakunda to Nyofele to Gunjur, Brikama, Manduar, Penyem to Busura Trunk Road, and a lot of others that are to be built. Also, due to the heavy downpour of rain over the past few days, the roads in parts of Banjul, Sukuta Jambanjeli, and Dasilame, Kerfode villages were inundated with flash floods that caused challenges for vehicles. As a result, the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure has been working tirelessly with contractors to fast-track road constructions going on in some of these areas. Very soon, construction work on the Bond Road stretch in Banjul would be completed, and it will be open to traffic very soon. In efforts being put together to solve the flood situation in Sukuta Jambanjeli roads, GAMWorks, together with the National Road Authority, NRA, are working with the village development committees, VDCs, of the affected villages to come up with an emergency plan to address the situation. In similar projects, construction works on the $82 million bridge and road projects in Basse and Fatoto in the URR are going on smoothly and are expected to be finished on time. When completed, these giant projects would boost trade in Basse and other parts of the country. Likewise, opening the region to ECOWAS countries for economic activities. Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs. Despite the impact of COVID-19 on the Gambian economy, the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs has put in place measures to mitigate the impact by addressing other essential and budgetary needs that are directly or indirectly related to the pandemic. Over the past few months, the Ministry of Finance has strengthened its revenue mobilization efforts to minimize the shock of COVID-19 on the economy. Under the Gambia Electricity Restoration and Modernization Project, an agreement between the government of the Gambia and the International Development Association was financed through a grant initially amounting to $121 million, and it is expected to run from 2018 to 2023. This project has received additional funding of $43 million from the World Bank, which funded the $41 million out of the initial $121 million. The additional financing of the $43 million was approved by the board of the World Bank on 29 June 2020 and was signed on the 21st of July 2020. The Ministry of Tourism and Culture, Gambian youth, especially returnees, and to accomplish the goals of the National Development Plan, the NDP, Tourism and Hospitality Institute, GTHI, is in the process of constructing an agri-food processing and packaging center with modern workshops, laboratories, sanitation rooms, and stores. The objective of the agri-food processing and package and requisite skills to increase quality of agricultural products through improved processing. It is also to enhance market linkage between farmers and the local economy to create employment opportunities. This project targets young unemployed Gambians between the ages of 15 and 38 years interested in agro-food processing as a means of earning a livelihood. About 150 to 200 young people, particularly women and returnees, will benefit from this project. This will be beneficial for the youth looking for new market opportunities, for better linkages with the export market and with the tourism industry. Finally, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to send this personal message to members of the media to please continue to stay safe and always wear your face mask in public places. Our COVID-19 figures are increasing at worrying levels. We have now recorded 8 deaths due to COVID-19. We also have more than 400 confirmed cases with hundreds more under quarantine. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. And my colleagues online, if you have any questions for the Minister, he is here ready to answer your questions. So if anybody has questions, you can raise your hand and I will unmute your mic so that you can ask.
Hi, Africa. Your mic is mute. We can't hear you properly. Yes. Kante. Yes, I can hear you now. Yes. Mm-hmm. 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 Mm. Well, let me make a correction. I mean, I think it is not right to say that we have not put in place efforts to avert the surging numbers. You have seen from the very beginning when the figures started coming in, government went into action and declared a state of public health emergency. Yes, at some points, some of the efforts were difficult to implement, especially, in the face of continuous denial, in the public. So we did a thorough consultation as a government with our development stakeholders, with the various experts at the health and the Ministry of Finance, the government COVID-19 committee headed by the Vice President and also the Minister of Justice. And we came up with stricter and tougher measures that that actually the Minister of Health is now empowered to implement. And as a result, we think it is not necessary to continue to have a state of emergency when you have more stricter measures that will now, under the new regulations, be implemented by the Honorable Minister of Health. The Minister of Health, under the new emergency powers, he can even declare a lockdown in a part of the country that he thinks, the situation is out of hand. So we are not, slowing down, and I can assure you that very soon you will hear new measures that will come up to strengthen the Minister of Health in his efforts and those of his experts in dealing with this pandemic. Your mic is on mute. Your mic is on mute. Your mic is still on mute. Yes. Self-isolation. Yes. Well, I know that the Vice President and some few ministers were at an event, a business council, where they came in contact with one of the people who died just recently, and it was confirmed that he had COVID. So both the Vice President and all those who were in contact with the particular individual were all told to go on self-isolation. And this also includes the top business executives who were at that meeting. Also, the Vice President herself has recognized the need to accelerate testing, and her orderlies and all the staff that were in contact with her within that period will also be tested. I think, what we are going to do now as a government is to increase testing in government institutions, and we also want to encourage the public to make themselves available for testing, so that you can know your status. I mean, it helps everyone when you make yourself available for testing to know your status. Yes. Yes. Well, sometimes it's very difficult to deal with our people. And it's really sad that we have a serious pandemic like this. The least that you can do for yourself is to have a face mask on when you are in public. But, it seems a lot of people are also not, following these rules. And this is your first line of duty to protect yourself and also all those that you may come in contact with. So if the police are forced to enforce the law, I think nobody should blame them for that. They are doing a duty, and that duty must seem to be enforced. People have to respect the law. People have to protect themselves and protect the people that they are in contact with. Well, the Ministry of Health is coming up with the guidelines, and we believe that those can be very broad and specific also. So let's wait for the guidelines so that the police can be guided on those issues. Babukar, see?
Yes, Babukar is online.
Yeah.
Hello, Babukar. I think he's still trying to connect.
Yeah.
Yes. If anybody have any other questions for the minister, please. Babukar is still trying to connect. Yeah. So, Honorable.
Yes.
So far, this is I think we can close the press conference now. I think because of the Eid, a lot of the journalists, yes.
Yeah. But we can provide the audio and the video to them.
Yes, we provide the video for everybody.
Yes.
And because it's live on Facebook, it will be up there on Facebook. And DRTS also will air it later today.
Okay, it was live on Facebook.
Yes, it's live on Facebook.
All right, okay.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you back here next week. We'll be doing another press conference next week, Friday, hopefully. And Eid Mubarak. Thank you.
man kontaan boy mu ne boy nga nyim bata mu beta ki tubabu du boy boy nga nakko do mu be do ku boy nga kina nyin kendi moy boy pour ay bungulo nyi boro na bu hani lento am futa ji boy de jibe lu njumala ya fanyi koy babun lola ama me ila bu ngo jibe abadame jara foyte lafta fula nyi man balwo karam mu balwo fo balwo ko budlo ko fanan kele boy nyim bu ngo jala be nyamende abe mu balwo la do boy
ñin kunne suniata ta www.baluwo.com anim baluwo isela bulloran jorangol be sang anila kudula asatare mambata jorangol membu ko cemento kenyo babarol nil peruol woni nga nyon jamal ta baluwo.com yin jorangol be sang ila dinkira bado adungite batala je anim baluwo ifangole marate la kudula
Debunking COVID-19 myths. Myth 1.
Mi wulnani corona de. Alangata balenyo.
Alade corona anda leñol, corona anda leydi, corona anda sare, corona ko fof jaggata anda balejo anda bodejo. Ayande leyde de kertuɗen fof no jogi corona. Gambia ko hen tawa.
Myth 2.
Aha, hana ko gonga nyamugol laaj e renite coronavirus.
Alade nyamugol laaj renatama ɗum wona gonga. Continent ko woni gonga kon continent loten juuɗe men ɗe ndiyam e sabunde acciten 1 meter distance hakkunde meɗen continent sartaji ɗi ɓe wi pour renen hoore men renen yimɓe ɓe.
Myth 3.
Aha, an aɗo andi Gambia tawaka coronavirus wata wurude e nguleke.
Alade corona wura e nguleki, corona wura e ɓuɓol. Ayande leyɗe ɗe kerɗuɗe fof no jogui corona continent loten juuɗe men ɗen e sabunde waren ñaw o ka juuɗe meɗen te waten memu gite meɗen kine ɗe e hunduko ko sabunade corona ko ɗo wallirta.
Myth 4.
mawɓe
Naam.
andani corona ko tufunde tun no woni ala ko dowre.
Alade corona naka dowre dulaji gonno ɗo tunduji gonno ɗo eɓe jogui cases ji corona wona ka tufunde tum woodi de ande non ɗum noon.
My fellow Gambian brothers and sisters, this is a message of precaution, solidarity and hope. We living in very unusual times. The coronavirus is a menace that's threatening all of us, but together, united, we can do something about this. First, we need to take necessary precautions and take expert advice and act accordingly. Stay away from crowded places, wash our hands,